Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. Today I wanted to go over a uranium company, Baselode Energy. I recently invested in this and I wanted to show you the charts and the Elliott wave count of why I chose to do that. Excuse me. First of all, this is the US chart, but if you go to find on the TSX, you'll get more history. This company was released, I believe, in January of 2019 or 2018. It's an exploration company in Saskatchewan, and they just finished some drilling, I believe, and found radioactivity close to the surface, so potentially a lot of uranium there. But first of all, let's look on the daily. As you can see, it's pretty ugly to begin with, but we do have some fib levels that lead me to believe this is a pretty bullish potential. First of all, off the low is at 7 cents. Very hard to see because there wasn't a lot of volume to begin with. We got a 1, 2, potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, and a fifth coming up. No overlap between the 1 and the 4. The third hit the 1.618 and the fifth hit the 200%, which are all common levels for our third and fifth wave. Now looking at linear scale, this looks like a expanded flat, or alternatively this could be an A, B, C, and then we have a corrective move to the downside. Now coming off that one, we had a wave with an expanded flat B and what appears to be a ending diagonal for a expanded flat in itself, like so. Now I pulled the retracement from the bottom to the absolute top. We came just shy of the 50, which can mean two things. Can mean we have more downside to come, or we come up a little bit and we got to come down and potentially tag the 60. So this correction would just extend, or that means we're potentially very bullish. If you keep track of the uranium markets, as you know, it's been pretty bullish and it looks like it's breaking out. So I would argue the fact that it's probably more bullish than potentially a new low coming. Now let's dig into this area down here. You can also see volume spike on this potential wave 1 up. But there are a couple things that I am concerned about. One is how deep we came here for our 2. Now we didn't invalidate our rules, but we wouldn't normally want to see that low. Positives, it looks like we're making a, if you follow other patterns, a cup and handle, which lines up with an Elliott wave count I have here to potentially take off. Also appears, if you understand Wyckoff accumulation patterns, this also fits in that narrative. So it's good to understand other trading analysis as well, because the more that line up with a similar view, the more likely it is to happen. So I'm pretty happy with the entry here. I got in this area here within the last couple months. So where does that potentially take us? Now we'd want to use log scale for longer term views. As you can see, they work best, especially in previous ways, in potentially bullish markets. What I would target is potentially another 1-2. Now it could be more bullish than this, but we basically get a 1-2 and a 1-2 before we'd go for our third. So just targeting the 0.618 there, extension. And that is the extension of this wave off the bottom of the 2 up to the 618 extension. Right there you can see the pivots I used. Now, if we are this bullish, how do we get there? Well, I'd see this as nested 1-2s. We'd have a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, and then up again. So you could take off pretty aggressively here. And if we don't do that, I'd expect us to get rejected pretty hard to the downside here, but the risk reward is pretty close. You can put your stop literally at this low. Your stop can go at this low because that would invalidate any bullish scenario. And you're looking at potentially a 16, 17 to 1 trade. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. It looks really good. Baseload energy. Further out targets are obviously insane until they happen. If you were involved at all in the weed stocks a couple years ago, I had a couple friends involved. I had some money in them. Everybody thinks it's impossible till it happens. So just keep that in mind. Like in any market, the housing market, for example, if you were asked a couple years ago if housing prices would double, you'd say you're crazy. Not possible. If they told you that interest rates are going to go up to 5%, you'd say impossible, not going to happen. So just keep that in mind. So further out targets a couple years from now, potentially a 60x return. So I'm in this trade. I'm excited for it, but just keep in mind that we could get that rejection to the downside and extend this out. Otherwise, it should be a pretty bullish end of year and into next year. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.